Hello guys, here with a new video for the channel. I hope you like it, and if you like it, don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment, and subscribe. Now without further ado, get comfortable. Let's begin. An astonishing roar would be felt by all the multiverses, or rather all that omniverse was involved in destruction. At that moment, the barrier which Kakarot put had been completely destroyed, and a surprising pressure would fall on all the multiverse of Zeno-sama. At that moment, the three warriors had fallen to their knees to be training without releasing so much power. What the hell? Who wields all this power? It's amazing the power he's releasing, so much that it even makes my body shudder. It's an amazing power, but I'm not gonna let that power crush all the training I've gone through. At that moment, Daishinkan would increase his power to the maximum. He even dominated 87% of Zeno-sama's power. At that moment, the pressure had decreased drastically. At the same instant, Goku and Vegeta had increased the power of their doctrines, with which they were already able to withstand that incredible pressure. However, they were very astonished by the power that this guy was releasing. This must be the work of the cursed Lucio, since he's the only one capable of calling a warrior of that power. The power of that being's incredible. It seems that this battle won't be easy at all. Going back to Archon, he would stop expelling all his power. What the hell? How did you get all that power? The power of the Annihilator Kings is abominable. Our victory is completely assured. In the other world, I've been training in the same way. I've not been wasting my time as you think. But tell me when we'll finish with the descendants of that bastard Ryuga. We'll do it in about 1 week, since we need to prepare for the final battle. That's right, because there is the slightest failure, beings will be completely exterminated by those wretches. You don't have to worry about me. With me, you'll have victory assured. But in this week, I'll take care of training you and make your bodies as strong as steel. At that moment, Archon with a great speed would give thousands of blows to both warriors, who would fall to the ground badly wounded. Lucio, your power, on the contrary of increasing, has decreased in an amazing way. Millions of years ago, you were able to dodge those blows. You've become so powerful, but I haven't fallen behind. Watch this. Lucio at that moment also began to increase his power to the maximum. All his sea of energy began to spin, because his ki veins were carrying more power than usual. At that moment of a big explosion, Lucio had launched an attack against Archon, while Kronos was not able to do anything. However, he would launch himself against Archon. I'll not stay behind. I'm a being that even has the power to end the life of a king altogether. Both warriors began to fight against Archon, who without any difficulty dodged and blocked each of his blows. At the same time, he increased his power a little more, leaving both of them very wounded. The lack of power and endurance in the remaining week, we'll focus on that. Lucio would say to himself, how has he been able to increase his power to this scale? I can't assimilate it. This is a double-edged sword. As it can help me finish off Ryuga's offspring, it can also help finish me off. However, Archon was thinking the exact same thing, since at that moment he would say to himself, the power of Ryuga's offspring must be strong, otherwise they would have brought me to life. When we finish with them, the next ones will be those bastards. Only I must be the only king to rule everything. Meanwhile, returning to the trio of warriors, Kakarot and Vegeta at that moment would take their training much more seriously, knowing that an extremely powerful being was going to confront them. The power that was felt a few minutes ago is an amazing power, but I'm sure we can fight against those powers. No matter how complicated the situation, we'll be the victors. Of course we will! All this will be for the victory of Ryuga-sama. At that moment, the trio of warriors had considered a training with much greater difficulty to be able to increase their power in a more effective way. Meanwhile, in all the other multiverses, all the kings of everything had fallen. That is, in all the multiverses, there was total chaos. Since there was no divine being of high power, all the other beings began to massacre each other. Returning to Lucille and the three others, the three warriors had increased their power in an amazing way. However, they were still not at the level of Archon, who with only 50% of all his power was able to defeat them without any difficulty.
That damned one. When we finish with all the descendants of Ryuga, only one way and another I'll have to finish with Archon, because his power is able to finish even me. Tomorrow will be the day that all this will end. Tomorrow, it'll be decided if we stay alive or dead.
At that moment, an incredible power would be released all over the place. Even some of Kronos' bones were broken due to such power.
Are you doubting our victory? I don't feel any high power, so our victory is more than assured. I have checked every failure, and there's no chance for us to fail. I'm very sorry for doubting your power, mighty Archon-sama.
At that moment, Archon would increase his pressure, allowing Kronos to be able to move. The last day had passed quickly. At that moment, the trio of warriors would begin to move towards the multiverse of Zeno-sama at an incredible speed. That's right, they were determined to finish them all. After a few minutes, they had reached the barrier, which had been placed by Kakarot again.
Ha 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 ha! So a barrier, this'll be useless against my power.
At that moment, Archon would stretch one of his fingers, launching a powerful attack, which would pierce the barrier without any difficulty. At that moment, an amazing power would be felt through the multiverse of Zeno-sama.
They've arrived. It's time for the final battle. We're not allowed to lose, so don't be confident. Use all your powers from the beginning.
At that very moment, the three warriors had arrived at the battlefield.
Today, finally, all our rivalry will end. Your descendants of Ryuga will finish with all of you, and will form a new multiverse without your essence. I want to end the life of the cursed priest.
At that moment, the trio of warriors had launched one against the other. Kakarot felt that the power of Archon was the most prominent of the three. He would throw himself at him. The battle that both were having was amazing. Thousands of blows. The battle they were having was amazing. Thousands of punches, kicks, and energy blasts were scattered throughout the universes. However, although Kakarot was using all his power in the Ultra Instinct, Archon was the only playing with Kakarot. Meanwhile, as Lucille and Vegeta, both were very evenly matched, and this infuriated Lucille since he had realized that Kakarot's power had surpassed him. Although it was only by a very little, he'd been able to surpass his power. Meanwhile, as Kronos against Daishinkan, the battle that was a total disadvantage. That is, despite Kronos having trained, Daishinkan's power had surpassed him by far, and this is thanks to the power that Zeno-sama gave to Daishinkan. In the last exchange of blows, Kronos would be sent flying with a great blow, falling very badly wounded. At that moment of standing up, everything around him was spinning, while vomiting large amounts of blood.
I'd like to humiliate you much more for having set all the supreme gods against us, but I will not trust you. I'll finish you right now.
Daishinkan at that moment would charge a great attack of fire. At that moment, an incredible dragon of red-hot fire would head towards Kronos.
You pathetic angel, you won't be able to defeat me. That attack's nothing for me.
Kronos, when trying to stop it, it'd be impossible. That's right, in that instant, the whole body of Kronos began to be converted into simple dust of the universe. This would leave Lucille very surprised. He didn't know the incredible power that the angel possessed. At that moment, Lucille would increase much more his power, being able to connect some excellent blows to Vegeta. At that moment, at an amazing speed, he would throw himself against Daishinkan, which compared to Lucille, his power was nothing. But when his blow was able to connect with Daishinkan, Vegeta would hold his hand tightly.
Ha ha ha! You damn worm, I'm your opponent, so don't repeat what you just did.
Vegeta at that moment with a great blow would send him flying, and at that moment, he would charge an incredible attack. However, to everyone's surprise, Lucille would be able to disintegrate him, when a strong lightning would come out of his body.
Don't mind being affected by this power. I'll end your pathetic life.
Meanwhile, with the battle of Kakarot and Archon, Archon was giving him a beating, and despite having activated the Ultra Instinct, he was not able to dodge all the blows of Archon. At the time, Kakarot would fall to the ground badly wounded.
So you're the descendants of Ryuga. Ha ha ha! Don't make me laugh. Your power is pathetic. To finish with all these multiverses would be easier than taking candy from a child.
Kakarot at that moment would stand up, starting to increase his power in an amazing way, leaving a little astonished Archon, who believed that Kakarot was using all his power. At that same instant, a great Ozara would form in the whole universe, and with a loud roar, would push back those present. However, from a great light could be seen Kakarot, with his whole body full of fur, and with a very serious look he would observe Archon.
This is my maximum power. If I'm not able to do anything to you with this power, I don't know how I can defeat you.
At that moment, Kakarot, without letting Archon react, launched himself against him, giving him a few blows, which this time had caused him brutal damage. So much that in all the millions of years he had spit large amounts of blood. This event would surprise even Lucio, who was wearing out even his vitality to be able to maintain a battle against Vegeta.
Damn Saiyan, now I'll wipe out every trace of your existence.
Archon at that moment increased his power to 89% of all his power. Starting to fight against Kakarot, the pressure of his fists even caused damage to Vegeta and Lucio, who could not fight calmly.
Damn it, Kakarot's power's wearing out. I better finish this insect quickly. I'll leave my pride aside.
At that moment, Vegeta would communicate with Daishinkan, asking him to be a reinforcement with his battle. So it is Daishinkan threw hundreds of energy spheres towards Lucio, which was much more difficult because he had to dodge the blows of Vegeta and Daishinkan's attacks. However, after an incredible battle, Vegeta realizing that he is not able to take advantage, he threw himself against Lucio, holding him tightly.
Now both of us will explode. Let's see if you're resistant enough to withstand an explosion of my maximum power.
At that moment, the incredible power of Vegeta was increasing to the limit. Daishinkan at that moment would support with an angelic barrier for the entire body of Vegeta. At that precise moment, an incredible explosion could be seen by all the universes. That's right, Vegeta had ended the life of Lucio, but had also been on the verge of death, falling to the ground in terrible condition. Daishinkan at that moment would have approached quickly, and with his power, a great priest would have been able to make Vegeta regain all his power.
It's time to help Kakarot.
That's right, at the beginning, Kakarot and Archon were in a very even battle. However, over the course of hours, Kakarot's power began to decrease on the contrary of Archon, which at that moment would increase its power to the maximum to finish everyone once and for all. At that time, Daishinkan and Vegeta were launched against Archon, being completely and all enveloped. At that moment, Kakarot would be in front of everyone, creating a light so intense which would leave Archon without vision.
It's time to do it.
Goku and Vegeta at that moment would take out the pendant, beginning to merge. At that moment, Vegito had appeared on the battlefield, which would pass it to its most powerful transformation, being the Mega Instinct, with which it would surpass the power of Kakarot in Phase 4, and at that time Archon had recovered his vision completely.
Who the hell are you, damn it? I'm neither Goku or Vegeta. I'm the one in charge of killing you. My name is Super Vegito.
At that moment, Vegito launched himself against Archon, being able to give him a beating with which his power would diminish rapidly. However, after only 3 minutes battle, Vegeta would charge a sneak attack, which Archon was able to dodge, and in that instant, the fusion would end, leaving Kakarot and Vegeta surprised. The Archon would not lose the opportunity, and at this moment, he connects some excellent blows. The instant Daishinkan realized this, he launched himself into the attack and quickly communicated with both of them telepathically.
I'll self-destruct, and I'll give you the necessary time to merge through dance. I trust you. The palace of the king of all gathered all the Super Dragon Balls.
At that moment, Daishinkan would begin to approach towards Archon, which to be several meters away, Daishinkan would explode with its maximum power. And in that instant, an amazing power would be felt in all the multiverses, even being able to feel Archon in incredible terror.
I'll not forgive you because of that, you miserable fault. Daishinkan sacrificed himself.
Gogeta, without trusting, would connect millions of blows in a matter of seconds and charge a great attack.
Die, Beast Annihilator!
At that moment, a small sphere of energy would collide with Archon's body and make him disappear. And Gogeta at his maximum speed would head towards Zeno-sama's castle, invoking the great god Zalma.
What is your wish?
I want everything to return to normal, and for all the divine beings to return to life.
It is rather complicated wish, but I am able to do it.
At that moment, the great god Zalma would rise to the top, and everyone would drop to power to be able to fulfill this great wish. At that moment, all the gods, angels, Daishinkan, and Zeno-sama would come watching Gogeta. At that moment, everyone would bow. That's right, even the supreme gods.
I'm the mighty Gogeta. and I'm the descendant of Ryuga-sama. If anyone wants to mess with the multiverses, I'll exterminate them.
What will happen next? Find out in the next chapter. Well guys, this is all for today's chapter. I hope you liked it and it was to your liking. Now don't forget to leave your powerful like Supreme God level, comment and subscribe. Now without further ado, see you in a new video. Until next time.
Track